Alright now, ladies and gentlemen. Past 3 videos, I said I was going to start doing short, 20-minute videos that were going to be a theoretical overview of the practical applications on some of the fundamental mechanisms. And that's all going to be on some of the fundamental mechanisms. I can't, it don't make a lot of sense for me to be on sabbatical here to write a book, meaning no income, be teaching them. I was on here, and not the one that's visible, but I got on here and done a 2-hour video on process control. Went plumb through from one end of the plant to the other. We watered up, so I can't be giving that kind of fucking information, especially when I know what kind of, what kind of short that's a fucking skill that's in short supply and high fucking demand. And I know what a shortage of competent electricians there is out in the field. And I ain't dogging on none of them. I ain't dogging on none of them. My fellow brothers in the trade. But I'm just saying, let's be honest about the fucking situation. How many times you run across, you got a bunch of fucking pipe benders and water pullers, what you got. Very fucking seldom. Good electrician, fusing for a fucking competent electrician, something that is fusing for between. Like I said, I know that for 13 fucking percent. Now I ain't selling nothing. Okay. But there's 1,000 fucking people talking about energy on the internet. So, what are you gonna get here that why you need me to explain to you how an alternating current generator works when there's 50,000 fucking videos on YouTube explaining the mechanism to you. Well, I'm here, Universe sent me to fucking bring you to a proper understanding. See Tesla fucking, he give you a rough fucking mechanism. It was a functional mechanism, but it damn sure wasn't efficient. It damn sure wasn't no use then. Because you couldn't run it for fucking hour without it burning the wine gut. Couldn't run it fucking about 30 minutes an hour and it'd burn the coals up in it. Because he didn't know how to size the coal. One thing he didn't know how to do. It took a little short German mathematician named Charles Potte's Steinmetz, worked for General Electric. He's one who got the patent on the laminated steel core. He's one who figured out that it was loss and the eddy current. So Charles Potte's Steinmetz is the one that give Tesla gives the rough mechanism, functional mechanism, but it damn sure wasn't no use then if you can't run it no longer than 30 minutes to an hour without it burning the windings up. He didn't know how to size. He didn't know how to do the inductance calculation. Because I said repeatedly that it's the inductance of the conductors themselves powering the light. Now, why is it you think that more load you got on a circuit, the bigger your conductors got to be, right? Why do you think it is? It's because it's the conductors themselves. The energy that's powering loads comes from right in conductors. The conductors are what's powering the light. The inductance of the conductors, which is obviously greater the bigger the conductors are. Right. And so, now I'm not going to go off on fucking, I ain't going to take, I'm 4 minutes in, I ain't going to take 10 minutes to, I'm going to get on into the meat and potatoes. And what you going to get fucking different here, you ain't getting no fucking worry. Well, stick around and find out. I guarantee if you fucking give me attention for 20 minutes, you'll leave here with fucking fundamental understanding. Ain't nobody else, but you won't get what you fix to get here, you won't get no fucking worry. Grant you that. So, just bear with. Now, the fundamental mechanism on the first, obviously the generator. But I cannot get you to a proper understanding on what the generator is and what the function and the mechanism of a generator without first getting you to properly understand what matters, getting you to properly understand matter. And once you come to a proper understanding of matter, guess what else you come to a proper understanding of? Simultaneous gravity. So that's what you fix and get. That's what you fix and get right up off the bat. You're something fucking mad. Okay, now all material bodies which are at apparent rest, and I emphasize apparent rest, because a man often forgets even when he's standing dead still upon this planet. He's doing so upon a celestial body that is moving at thousands of miles an hour through the universe on a circular frequency. It's on a 360-degree circular rotational frequency upon its own axis that is equivalent to a velocity of around 1,000 miles an hour. And then it is in orbit around the sun. And then the solar system's on it. It's in orbit in the galaxy spiral. So, all matter is potential energy. The rest, all matter is potential energy that's, equivalent to an untold fucking velocity. All matter is energy. It's got a, now, when it's at rest, when the body's at rest, the only rest, listen, the only place there's rest, the only place there's rest in a system is between your feet and the ground. That's the point of zero potential. Now between the top of your head and the ground your feet are standing on, there is a difference of potential, however, which is directly related to your physical mass, your weight. So if a man's 240 pounds, might as well say he's 240 volts. It's electrostatic potential. The bigger, the more inertia. Now we don't quite understand inertia, but we do understand that inertia is associated with mass. And the bigger something is, the more inertia it's got. More force has got to be applied to move. But it's not just a phenomenon that's directly related to mass, it's also related to velocity. Because now, imagine if I got a bullet, 45 caliber bullet in my hand right here, and I take and I throw it at you with my hand. Well, I ain't gonna do much damage. It ain't gonna take much to stop that. It ain't gonna take much back pressure to stop that. That ain't gonna do no damage. But now if I speed that up by shooting it through the barrel of a gun, it's motherfucking hole through. So inertia is not only due to mass, it's due to velocity as well. But so all matter. Now see, the electrostatic E field and the magnetic B field are the very exact same polarization, very same field. Now the E field's static, but when it begins to move and rotate, at least it appears to be. See, this, ladies and gentlemen, there ain't the oscillation, the alternation is not back and forth. It's in and out. It's in and out of 3 dimensions. It's not back and forth. It's in and out. So, but so long as you understand now that all matter at rest has an electrostatic potential, which is directly equivalent to its mass, its magnitude. Now, what is it, the definition of voltage is what? The difference of the difference of electrostatic potential that exists between two material points in 3 dimensions. That's the very definition of voltage. So, what it is keeping you glued to the ground here is the same thing. It's power and load and surface. It's creating an inward. Now, I want you to, right here's the permanent magnet. Now, it's their input on those. So we got a kinetic, all electrical devices, whether it be a motor or a generator. We got two primary components, a static component and a rotating component, kinetic component and a potential component, an electrostatic component and a magnetic component, a transverse and a static. So your magnetic is, the first thing they do also get a couple of things, synonyms out of the way. When we're talking about electricity, I ain't gonna get, what it is a reactance. It's reactance between material source and material load to the difference of potential. But it's an inward polarization. It's a static polarization. Two-dimensional scalar potential between two material points. See, we all forget that, before matter could have entered into 3 dimensions, it must have first come through 2 dimensions. And 2 dimensions is the closest thing, 2 dimensions is a field, a tight string. Because 0, there ain't even a tight string. There's nothing. So somebody's took and poured it out from point of 0 potential. And, positive and negative. So that's the duality of this material world. Because there ain't no duality. See, God, the void, point of 0 potential, is, that was a condition that pre-existed, or I don't even know if it's accurate to say pre-existed, because time ain't a thing there either, see. But see, now we get to the bottom of matter, because we got to get a fundamental understanding on matter before you can get a fundamental understanding on a generator. You can't understand a generator without having an actual understanding of matter. Can't understand what's really going on anyway. You can fucking understand it as the 50,000 other videos on YouTube describe electromagnetism to you, but listen. Better here, I guarantee you, like I said, I don't have to talk nothing. Okay, merge my work stand on something. Now here's the permanent magnet, permanent magnet, bar magnet. Now, few things let's consider here. Okay. Now, so we got another piece of steel. Okay. Same dimensions. Let's say this weighs 2 pounds. Okay. And so we got another bar that ain't magnetized, and it weighs 2 pounds weight. Now, what is the difference? They're both, there ain't no difference in the quantity. They're both 2 pounds on. Same width, same depth, same dimensions. Same 3 dimensional. Exactly. What is the difference? Well, the difference is you know what you do when you take and you run a magnet across a nail or another piece of ferrous metal, and you magnetize. You know you magnetize something. You know with another magnet, you got a magnetic field. But when you magnetize something, the only thing you're doing is the outer molecular structure, which are the energetic channels, same energetic channels that Chinese medicine's trying to open up on you when they do acupuncture down through in meridian acupuncture. Well, that's your energetic channel, and the outer molecular structure of all matter, because it's all flowing energy. I told you. So anyhow, so we got energetic channels called meridians on us, and this magnet's got well, they call them magnetic domains, but they're energetic channels that's running through this magnet. And when we focus, when we take a magnet running across the nail and thereby magnetize the nail, we focused and aligned or cohered. We've made a coherent piece of matter. What we've done. You know, it's coherent. Now, that's the difference between a piece of iron, a 2 pound piece of iron that is magnetized, one that ain't. Is one of them is coherent, and the other ain't. Okay, but one thing for you to understand. Okay, now the only place that there's equilibrium. Let me get back to uh, where I was first at. Okay, now let us consider it from the perspective of this magnet. Now, never mind these field lines. Let us consider the forces that the magnet are feeling upon itself. Well, the only force that the magnet is feeling upon itself is what's keeping it fucking glued to the ground, called gravity. That's the only force it's. And what is that for? Well, it's for a magnet. It's got, when it's still, it's got electrostatic potential. Now, see, there ain't no shouldn't be no magnetic. Well, the magnetic field's there, but it ain't exerting force, obviously, because there ain't on its own. Because force is something that requires two material objects. Force is a reaction between two material objects. So it's the same. You got to have a material object fall on one side, and then create that metaphysical displacement, which is the potential, and the open air medium. And then you got to have something physical on the other. So all the phenomena of the material world is reactions, but we're talking about, I'm trying to get you to a fundamental understanding of matter here. So understand this piece of matter has a electrostatic potential, which is equivalent to its weight. So if it's 5 pounds, it's 5 fucking volts, let's just say. And, you know, I'll take it on good faith in the mob that I ain't never been to outer space, but I'll take it on good faith that you fucking float away when you go there. Now the reason you float away is because you lost your reference point. I've been hollering for 2 weeks that, you know, before you can have a difference of anything, you gotta have 2 points of reference. So you can't have no voltage if you ain't got 2 points of reference. So when you get out from the Earth's electromagnetic influence, then you an ungrounded conductor. Basically, you lost your ground, what you've done. So you've got electrostatic potential because, you know, you ain't zero. So obviously, you you got a potential. You got electrostatic potential when you're standing still that going back to zero. You know, now you don't. Now that electrostatic field, you know, and it's two-dimensional. When you close your eyes, that black, you know, that's the electrostatic field. And that's for light, you know. That's the only thing you got. See, you know, Eric Dollar said if you was in space, you can't even see the sun. Only thing you can see the Earth. I guess you can see the light reflect, but anybody knows. You look out in outer space and what's black nothing. You don't see no light till there's an object comes by and it reflects off of it. So once you leave the Earth, once you leave the Earth's physical mass and the influence, its electromagnetic influence, then sun probably ain't even shine. Can't be. Probably ain't. There's no way. The only thing it is the potential. And you can probably see yourself because there's mass there for it to reflect off of it. Because there's something there for it to react with. Sun's black. Now, I don't know that, obviously. But here, what we're talking about is, okay, all matter has a body at rest, every body at rest has an electrostatic potential that is directly equivalent to its physical mass. Weight. And what's got you glued to the earth is the difference of potential between you and the earth. Now, see, you got a potential, you're a potential 200 some fucking pounds. The earth is a potential of, I don't even fucking want to think how many tons. Or fucking kiloton, how many ever fucking megatons that the ground is. So that's why you glue the ground, because there's a difference. There's something called voltage. What we call voltage in the secondary electrical circuit, which is the difference of electrostatic potential between two material points in three-dimensional space, called the terminals of the circuit. Well, those two material points in space, three-dimensional space, instead of them being the two terminals of the circuit, it's your ass in the earth. So now the only force when this magnet is sitting up on a shelf somewhere, and it ain't moving, the body's at rest, it's got electrostatic potential on it. That's from its perspective, the only thing it's feeling is, the only force it's feeling is the one that's got it glued to the ground. That electrostatic, that voltage, that difference of electrostatic potential, which is the gravitational field. Same with terminals of the circuit, see? You know, say Billy Bob Jim here. Now right here's point zero potential between the ground and this man's feet. There's zero potential. There's equilibrium when he's standing still, his body at rest. The only force he's feeling is what's got him glued to the ground. I told you what's got him glued to the ground, because let's say he's a voltage right here. But his weight, say 200 pounds, and fucking megatons down here. So you got a hellacious drop right there. And just like with, I've used this example countless times. If this pin is heated to 120 degrees and this pin is heated to 120 degrees, if I put these two pins together, right, is there going to be any transfer of thermal energy? Absolutely. Absolutely not, because you cannot go someplace that you're already set. If this one's at 120 degrees and this one's at 120 degrees, and I put them together, there ain't going to be no reactance because they're at the same place energetically. Now, if this one's at, if this one's at 20 degrees and this one's at 40 degrees, and I got a 20-volt drop, because they're at the difference of potential. Two pieces of material that are different of thermal potential and electrostatic potential. If they're different thermal potential, they're different electrostatic potential at the same time. So that's a matter for another discussion. So as long as you understand this. Now, the only place when a body said to be at rest, well, the only place there's rest, really and truly, is between the only point that's at equilibrium in the system is between your feet and the ground that you're standing on. That's the only place there's rest, because like I said, we all forget even when we're standing still, we're moving thousands of miles an hour through the universe. We're moving at a fucking untold velocity and frequency. Spiraling. So, now, you can't forget your point of perspective. Your point of perspective is upon the earth. So if you're standing still on it, you're in phase with it. And you're going right along with it. So that's why, and nurse. See, to understand that there's fucking, the only physics professor that ever taught me something was old fucking man, he reminded me of old Grandpa Munster off what the fuck was his name? But that was the last physicist I believe I've ever. And now that man was, I'll put a link under my video, or I'll share something here. But so we get to a fundamental understanding what a generator. Okay, can't get you there till I get you to a fundamental understanding of what matter is, or a body at rest. A body at rest ain't really at rest, cause it's at rest upon a fucking planet that's spinning at untold fucking. So it's potential in. It's apparently static because it's in phase, rotating right along with the Earth itself. And when you climb a hill, you got to exert a positive force in best direction or up a hill. You got to exert a positive force to, and it's just no different pulling a rubber band back. Hey, you got to exert a force, positive force, pull a rubber band back. Well, you got to exert a positive force when you walk up a hill, to jump off a cliff. So the only reason the body's at rest, the only place it's at rest is in reference. Only place only place that there's rest or equilibrium in the system is when it is measured against the reference point of the earth that we're standing upon. That's the only place there's rest. It's between, when the body's said to be at rest upon this earth, the only place it's at rest is with respect to the earth. That's the only place there's equilibrium in the system. Is, there's point zero potential between the bottoms of your feet, however, between the top of your head, equivalent to your mass, proportional to your physical mass, that's directly related to your electrostatic potential. And an electrostatic potential is a two-dimensional thing. It's a two-dimensional field. See, the mind preceded the body, but the awareness preceded the body. The body. I don't know. See, what are we told? That a dipole. Now, looking at it from the perspective of particle physics, we got a dipole, separation of charges. So obviously, before we can have that polarization, that separate, that implies to me. Now I'm getting ready to show you something. Now, a boundary condition. What the conductors, the purpose, which I'll save that for another video because I'm already 30 fucking minutes in this, and I said it wasn't going to be 20 minutes long, but you understand what fucking gravity is now? Look here at this fella here. Let's say it's the ground he's standing on, and it's the earth. Okay, well, there's zero potential between his feet and the earth. But between the top of his head, there's a difference of potential of 200, 150. There's a difference of potential that's equivalent. There's a difference of electrostatic potential that's directly equivalent to this man's weight, or to the weight of the body. Newtons, might as well call them volts. Now, when I walk forward or when I climb a hill, that requires me applying a positive force. And, magnetism, the electrostatic E field and the magnetic B field are the same exact polarization, same exact field, except that the electrostatic field is two-dimensional static polarization. And when that begins on a rotational frequency, see, what most people have arrived at by good faith in the current scientific model, I have arrived at through avenues all my own, that this entire three-dimensional reality is the byproduct of a circular function, a circular 360-degree frequency. And so that's what a two-dimensional static field, electrostatic scalar potential, for whatever reason. Now the point of zero potential, and that's right dead in the center. We all forget before matter could come in 3 dimensions, it had to come through 2 dimensions. Flat plane. 2-dimensional tight string. 2-dimensional field. 2 poles. Electrostatic field, in other words. That's, it's what we perceive to be our mind is electrostatic. It's electrostatic in nature. So it is digital in nature. But it ain't anyhow. So when we're at rest, when we're at rest, we're just feeling, the only force that we're feeling upon us is as a result of the difference of electrostatic potential between us and Earth. And, that's what a conductor, the conductors in this system now, Now we're connected too. We're connected to the point of zero potential. It's a common term. See, now this man right here. Now, so I went from top of his head here, but right dead center of this man's body, his chakra. So either solar plexus or I think the solar plexus chakra. Well, that's the main point. You got points of zero potential going all up and down your axis right here. But the main one, the main common terminal, I think, is the solar plexus. And might as well say it's war hut. Let's just for a minute pretend that there's a wire hook there. Okay, so that's what's got us glued to the ground like that. Different. Now, a lot of people often, when we're out in the field, when we're out in the field and we see two terminals of the circuit, we often forget that those, what appears to be two conductors, two separate conductors, a hot and a neutral conductor, two hot conductors, they're connected right back through. See, the primary purpose, the conductor, which I'll go into that in another video, we will get the matter, but I want to show you one thing here, is that these two conductors are really one conductor. The two hot conductors, or the hot and the neutral conductor, are actually the same conductor. And then a generator, which is circular frequency, your point of zero potential is always going to be dead center. Dead center, that's why, you center tap dead center. A split phase, a split winding transformer, which is what gives you. We got here in America. We got a residential supply that's fed from a split winding secondary that is tapped right dead in the center. So these two conductors, what appears to be two separate conductors, is actually the same conductor, but one's at a difference of potential in the other. So now this is 180 degree displacement of a single phase portable generator. That's what I'm depicting right here. We ain't got but a single phase and we got two poles right here. And now that won't produce a rotational frequency, however. And I'll go into that. I'm not going into that right now. The point I'm trying to make to you right here is you got a voltage is defined as a difference of electrostatic potential between two material points in 3 dimensions. Now those two material points, L1 and L2 right here, are actually same conductors because they connect back here on the other end through the generator stator field. And in a generator, which is on a circular frequency, your point of zero potential is always right dead center. Guess what? They bonded to it and bonded to the ground as well. So just like these 2 points here appear to be two separate points with either a distance in positive space or a difference of electrostatic potential between whatever, they are actually the same conductor. That what appears to be two is actually one, basically. And bonded at the point of zero potential and also bonded to the earth, the XO point. So now, just like with an electrical circuit, well, you got a point of zero potential. And, the bigger you are, more mass you got, then that means more of you that they is sprouting out in here in 3 dimensions. More electrostatic potential you got. The tighter you pull the rubber band back. So Electrostatic potential is directly equivalent to the mass of the body, the mass of the body. All right, and what's keeping it when that body's sitting still, dead still? Well, the only force that body's feeling upon it is the one that's got it glued to the ground. Oh. And what's got it glued to the ground, same thing. It's a difference of electrostatic potential. Well, there ain't no difference. You got to exert a positive force. You got to pull the rubber band back by climbing the hill, or spin the. There ain't no difference of potential when you're standing on the ground, and until you jump off, there ain't no difference of potential. If you climb a hill now, but as long as you standing on the cliff, you still got. There ain't no difference of potential till you jump off the cliff. And that is a collapse. What that is, ladies and gentlemen. What a lightning bolt is, friends. Now, somebody tell me, a lightning strike that ain't took place between two material points, between two clouds, or two, cloud and ground, or at least that's where he was headed. But what that is a collapse of three-dimensional space back to zero. It's a collapse of three-dimensional space into two dimensions and back into zero. So three-dimensional space goes two dimensions and back to zero. Just like you ever seen how your television cuts off and it blinks out like that? Well, like I said, all math, before it got to three dimensions, it got to three dimensions on a two-dimensional field. Began to move through this thing we call time, which is we're sinking, I guess, to it, and it's causing a rotational like thing. And we've materialized around. We've materialized around our soul. Our soul's that common term what I'm talking about. And you got them all up and down, and our body has crystallized around those points, polarized. So I said, once upon a time, I said that it was about like sticking, imagine an invisible finger of God poking his, an invisible finger poking up through a sheet of elastic and creating a positive displacement into three dimensions, while at the same exact time creating a negative void on the other side in two dimensions. They took two dimensions and stretched it out took a two-dimensional sheet of elastic and an invisible finger bulged it out in three dimensions, so simultaneously. That's why everything's got a dielectric capacitance and a magnetic inductance. And it's the inductance. It's the capacitance of the dielectric medium. It's the inductance of conductors, which powers the light. Ain't the generator. The generator just serves the purpose of, polarizing or energizing. It polarizes them and maintains what the generator does. Well, I'll go into what the generator does. But so we're just considering when that magnet's sitting still. Okay, when that magnet's sitting still, from its perspective, now that magnet's a coherent piece of matter, and it's had all of its energy channels coherent. Its outer molecular structure has been focused. So energy can, just like your meridians, when they do what the acupuncture's trying to do for you, same thing we do for magnets, because that's what he's trying to do to you as well. Is or open up your energy channel or your flow channel. And when we're standing still, when we're apparently still, we're in phase. We're going right along with the earth, in phase with it. but we ain't still tall. So the static electrostatic E field and the magnetic B field is the exact same polarization or field. It's just 90 degrees out of phase in space and time, what we call space and time. And on a rotational circular frequency, it's a two-dimensional field that has begun to rotate. Now, I guess it all come into happening at once. It didn't start, it didn't start as a two-dimensional field and then begin to rotate. A two-dimensional field, it pulled out and then started rotating. It all had to happen because I've had the chicken and the egg ponderance on this. And, I often thought that the potential, well, the potential most certainly had to precede magnetism and matter, but well, it couldn't proceed because there couldn't be no polarization. So the God force really ain't electromagnetic or something else. Electromagnetic is that energy broken down or knocked out of phase. Magnetic energy, at least. The magnetic energy, the only way you get magnetism is when the electrostatic field's knocked out of phase. That's the only time it manifests. Is when it's knocked out of phase. When material source is knocked out of phase or material, I don't know whether it's proper to say that the load is knocked out of phase. Material load knocked out of phase. Magnetic field manifests around the conductors, and that magnetic field it reacts when say now just like a water tower, just like a water system, and it's got a water tower in it. Now, when all the pumps are up and running steady, there's equilibrium in the system. So when there's load, when we're up at full load, if we ain't charging no capacitors and the circuit's not in a transit state, if the circuit's not in a transit state, then it is the conductors of the load which is purring the load. And there ain't no force being exerted. And well, there is once there's a load on it, but we've talked about a water system until there's change in equilibrium of the system. Until you lose the pump, you lose a little bit of water pressure, then that water tower will react back on the water lines and pressurize to compensate for, it'll react. And magnetism reacts back. Inductive reactance does the same thing. Capacitive reactance does the same thing. It reacts back just the same when there's a change in the equilibrium of the system. So now now what happens when you begin to rotate this, the forces that are generated, I'll talk about in another video. But there's a centrifugal divergence away from point of zero potential called magnetism, which gave rise to both space, time, and magnitude. Anything's got magnitude, got to deal with time, inertia, drag. So that's centrifugal divergence. When I begin to spin this thing, like I said, I'll go into, so long as we got a fundamental understanding of matter, and you should have a fundamental understanding. I guarantee you ain't. So, like I said, my work speaks for itself. I don't need to tap my work.